emotional person today. I'm not the, the, the right person to open this event and this meeting, this great gathering to all of the a great family, the family of Abraham, as Elias taught us. Uh, uh, Really, I'm so uh, emotional, as I say, to have the family together with us now, the family of one of the greatest, or of one of the greatest leaders and fathers and teachers in the Holy Land, Elias Jabbour. Today we come to honor him because he honored us a lot along his life. He gave us a lot. He taught us a lot. And he makes us a very strong leaders. I feel that we are very strong leaders because we are the students of him. He was one of the greatest co-founders of Abrahamic Reunion, our organization. It's international organization. And if I would like to talk about him, I need to take a while to explain and to talk and to bring all of his values, all of his teachings, all of his life, because he was full. But I will talk in brief today, and I would like also soon to invite Davidless Shabuddin, his friend, and also co-founder with him of Abrahamic Reunion. David, I will pass the mic for you, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. I want to be clear about something I'm feeling right now. For all of those who knew Elias, and many of you who might not have ever met him, his spirit is so strong that he is more present here right now than any of us, because we collectively are remembering him. But he's here. His being, his soul was so powerful. It's more powerful now than ever, and it's here. So we think we're remembering him, but really, once again, we're receiving his gift, his love, his power, and his clarity. And of course, he was my mentor too. What did I really know about this? Nothing. And I would go to him again and again with problems that I just couldn't see a solution to. And he would always think of it in a different way. So I hope that all of us, besides feeling the loss of Elias here in the body, really experience him here in the spirit and allow his wisdom, his love, his joy, and his pain to join all of us. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Ghassan.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Shabuddin. It's a great words. I know that you spoke. All of these words comes from your heart, because I remember when we met together many times. You were a different person there, with the great leader in our country. I would like to say two words about him, that he was a free person. He was independent person. He didn't look at any barrier in the world. He didn't see religion as a barrier, nationality as a barrier, language as a barrier, color as a barrier. He saw all of us as one person, because he felt that all of us, we are equal in love, in harmony, in connection, in coming to be together and to create more peace for our country. for our, not only our country, all of the world together. And I know that he had lots of connections all around the world, not only in the Holy Land, not only in USA, not only in Europe. We know that he stayed in USA some years and he taught here, and he visited most of the countries all around the world, and he taught a lot. Now, we have the family, but before that, we will invite the family to say some things. We would like to see a film about Elias Jabbour. I will invite Chris Miller to put the film and to show us the film. After that, we will talk and we will discuss. The family will give us lots of great treasures from the connection with Elias. Chris, please. Chris Miller?
Hi for everybody. I'm here already. So, sorry for being late.
Who is this? Ah, Zahir. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome, Zahir.
And if you want to ask me what is the function of this house, is to bring people together, like we are gathering today. People from all walks of life. I mean, what is happening in the Middle East should raise the attention of all the people of the world. It can happen anywhere. Right now, Jews and Arabs are sharing the graves. When we are going to share above the land, on the land. And there is enough place for all. I use the Yiddish word, genuch. It is enough. 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 It is enough. 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 It is enough. In Yiddish we say genuch. Long time we have been struggling, in my opinion, in vain. Peace is only said it is the lack of war. Yeah. Peace is deeper.
Yes.
Peace is life.
Taste, everything.
Everything. I want to shake the universe. I want to shake humanity. Wake up. War is expensive. Peace is priceless. Even the simplest people know that it is better to live together rather than die together. I say I would love to live with problems rather than die without problems. Listen, love is the essence of life. I'd like to welcome you in this humble house, in this house of peace, in this house of love. Listen, my life story, I wish that I will sit down, settle down to write it down. I was a Palestinian boy, 13 years old, living in this town, living in this house. I was the eldest son of a Palestinian leader. And I experienced all the Palestinian side until the age of 13, until the Israelis took over the town. I was all the time on the Palestinian side. I never ever knew what is a Jew. Never. I remember one day I saw some writing in Hebrew, and I asked my father, what is this language? He told me this is Hebrew. In this room where we are sitting, most of the Palestinian leaders before 1948 met here with my father. When the Israelis took over the town, the Israeli lieutenant who knocked at the door of my father early in the morning came with a unit of Haganah people. Yeah. I remember asked the soldiers, I don't know which language, where are the British? They told me, what do you need the British for? I said, I want to continue my studies. They said, forget about it. I moved from London University to the Hebrew University, one of the early Arab students. And I met the Jewish ocean. I dropped in the Jewish ocean. I swam in the Jewish ocean. And out of poverty, I rented a room in Shefar'am.
Yeah.
This is where I learned Yiddish.
Yeah.
And I learned about the different Jewish. There are more differences among the Jews than there is between the Arabs and Jews.
I know. We spoke about this.
So it opened my eyes. It opened my eyes to find out that we don't know each other. We don't know about each other.
Yeah.
There is a proverb in Arabic, you are the enemy of something that you don't know.
Yeah.
As long as we don't know, we are against it. We don't want it, we want it. When you know, it's different.
Yes.
It is totally different.
Yeah.
From that time, 1948, until today, my brother, you can imagine the huge amount of life experience that I passed.
Yeah.
The different kinds, the different cultures, the different people. I learned many things, and I changed my course. I chose the path of peace, because I found out that this is the only rational way. I dedicated my life to make as much as I can, to work as much as I can for peace. One of the ways that I am involved in making peace is Sulha. It's the old Arab traditional peacemaking process. And I want to tell you, this is a unique process that has been in existence for 2,000 years at least, and still going. It puts an end to the conflict. And I heard from my father, who was before me in this process, that during 100 years, during his lifetime, there was never a violation of Sulha. It is not easy to make peace, I want to tell you. Before restoring dignity, you cannot work peace. A humbled man and a humiliated man cannot make peace. I once asked my father, how could this old man shake hands with the killer of his son? During Sulha, you have to shake hands to say that it's over. How could this old man overcome his emotions and shake hands with the killer of his son? And my father's answer was, this old man is wise. He lost one son. He doesn't want to lose the other son. I attended many sulhas with my father, but I never concluded any sulha until he passed away. So after, in 1981, I started the first sulha. And from that time on, I took part in so many sulhas. In the Arab sulha, we believe that the end of every problem is peace. As-sulh sayyid al-ahkam. Reconciliation is the master of all judgments. If you imagine that the first story in the Bible, the creation, it still began, the beginning of creation, was a murder case. Cain killed his brother, Abel. Brother, not enemy. There were two brothers only on this earth. Each one has half a planet. What did they quarrel for? I asked many scholars, many rabbis, many clergy, why did they quarrel? What is the reason of their quarrel? What did they do? He said they quarreled over the love of God, over the grace of God. Each wanted the grace of God for himself. So I say, they found a reason. I think we can coexist, but not without problems. I'm aware that coexistence has problems. It is not just, simple as we think of. But I prefer to live with problems rather than to die without problems.
Yeah.
Problems is not a big problem. Problems are found in order to be solved. And our wisdom is how to solve these problems when they come. There is enough place for all in this small land, tiny piece of land. There is enough place for all, for Arabs and Jews to live together. but they don't want to live together. This is the problem, is how to make them accept living together. The key, the secret of Arab, Jewish, Israeli problem is that when they decide to live together, with difficulties, with problems. Jews and Arabs are angels, they are not angels. If they don't have problems, they will create it. And I think they are the good people in the world in creating problems. We are the best at creating problems. There is a proverb in Arabic, in the Sulha case, in the reconciliation. You see, we have to kill the problem, not the problem killing us. We have to overcome the problem, not to let the problem overcome us. When we are able to do that, and only great people can do that, overcome the problem. If you kill the other human being, you don't kill the problem. The problem is inherited by his... In my book, The Sulha, I found a piece about Mark Twain, speaking about 100 years killing case and still inheriting. And when they asked him, what did you kill him for? I said, I don't know. So when we come to the understanding that we can overcome problems, we know not to let problems overcome us, then I think it is possible to go on the way of peace. Both peoples do not know enough about the other people. The Jews in Tel Aviv, I don't know how much they are aware of the life of Arab villages in Galilee. Meet each other on every level, psychologically, physically, and so on. I say we need to know each other and to know about each other. It is amazing how ignorant we are, how much we don't know about each other. My point, why don't we dig deep in the ground to find more wisdom, old wisdom? The media is not carrying the real picture. It is distorted picture. For example, the Palestinians as terrorists is a distorting picture. They are not like that, never, ever. And still now, even in the most difficult times, there are some Palestinians working in Tel Aviv. And some Jews go to Nablus to fix their cars. And when you appreciate peace, when you lack it, who appreciate health? Sick people. We are sick. We are hungry for medicine. And what is the Abrahamic Reunion is making, is giving us some medicine. It is not enough. We need more. The cup is empty. But if we add one drop, it gets fuller. The world is dark. If we light one candle, we're not going to eliminate the darkness, but it's going to be less dark. If more will come and add more candles, it will be brighter. If I am not hopeful, what is the alternative? Is it going to get better? If we are going to give up hope, do we think that it's going to get anything better? Hope is the only thing left. So I am adhered to it. I am strongly catching it. Yes, I would like to send a message through you to the whole world and to my brothers and sisters anywhere, and tell them, as of my experience, out of my experience in this life, I found that peace is the only sane thing. Peace is the only beautiful thing that we can have. Peace is the reason of our life. Peace is the reason of our welfare, humanity welfare for all. I call people to try peace, to learn peace, to know about peace, to begin thinking, to begin changing the old ideas, the old systems. Let us try to wage peace and not to wage war. It is not enough to make peace. We have to maintain peace. How could we maintain it? How could we keep it? How could we give it to our generations? My opinion about our gathering, that we are handling the torch of peace from one generation to another. The torch of peace must go, must pass from one to another, because we have to live in peace. Your responsibility on the young people is very important. You have to believe that this is wrong. What is done is wrong. It's not only to believe, we have to say it. We need the courage, the brave, to stand up and say, it's wrong. You have to stop. So you have a great responsibility as a younger generation to carry this message, this mission again and again. And hopefully, days like these meetings will help you to believe more in the need of peace in our generation. We are going together work for peace and bring it and make it in here. Please come back anytime. We are hungry and thirsty for peace. All of us. Continue the good work. God bless you.
Oh,
Oh,
hi again. Really, it's so deep, so spiritual, as David say. His spirit is here. I feel his spirit with us. And you know, this speeches that he say, or this talks that he gave, all of us we were there, and you know, we try to catch any opportunity to be with Elias, to study and to learn from him. You know, we will go now to the family of Elias. It's a very great family. I see this family as that burning bush. You know, when Moses saw the fire and he thought this is a fire, but when he was so close to the burning bush, he discovered it's a light. And this family, it they are, all of them, they are lights. I would like to invite Jabbour, the wife of Elias, to say something about her love, her husband, his blessed memory, because he is, you know, the life and the spirit for all of us and for her especially. Jabbour, خالتي جبور، إذا ممكن تعطينا كم كلمة هيك من القلب عن أبو
الله
جبور، الله يرحمه.
يخليكم، مسيكم بالخير، الله يعطيكم
الله
العافية على اللفتة الحلوة العظيمة
حبيبتي.
اللي عملتوها قدمتوها مشان أبو جبور الله يرحمه.
Please.
إحنا خسرناه وأنتوا خسرتوه خينا.
خليكي معي بس ثاني ام جبور، انا رح اترجمك.
راح يترجم بس.
سامحيني انه رح اضلني اقاطعك كل جمله، بعتذر منك. ارجوك تحمليني. Good evening and thank you all, and may God bless you and give you strength, and thank you for presenting Abu Jabbour as you are doing today. تفضل.
يعني بطلب منكم انكم الله يقويكم وتكملوا هاي الطريق اللي كمان هو مشيها، ويعطيكم العافية ويطول أعماركم يا رب إن شاء الله.
I do ask of all of you to continue this path that he was on, and may God lengthen your life.
وشكرا لكم ولدعمكم، بتأمل إنه هذا البيت بضل مفتوح، كل ما تيجوا على البلاد تيجوا تزورونا ما تنسوناش، يعني ما تقولوش أبو جبور مات، وأهلا وسهلا فيكم كل وقت.
And thank you a lot for this.
شكرا لكم. شكرا.
This house will always be open for you, and your support means a lot. And please visit us even if he is dead. Just continue coming to our house.
شكرا هيام. Thank you هيام. Thank you هيام. I know it's not easy because he's still there, and I'm sure he will stay with us. His teachings will be with us all the time. And from here, before I'll go to Samir, I would like to ask Nadine if his daughter, and he told me a lot about her, that he loves her so much and so on. And also he loves her children, you know. And if you would like to say something, a small thing, Nadine, please.
مساء الخير.
Good evening.
Good evening to everybody. And it's difficult for me to talk about my late father. He's not here. حاول بالعربي شوي لكن أقدر مش قادر.
تفضلي.
شكرا كثير كل هاي الليلة الرائعة تقديرا لأبوي.
Thank you for this such wonderful night of appreciating my father.
أنا فخورة إنه بنته لأبو جبور.
I'm very proud daughter for my father.
حقيقة خسارته لإلي كثير كانت كبيرة. حسيت إني فقدت السند لإلي.
My loss of him is a huge loss because I feel like I lost the support for me.
أبوي علمني حب الناس، حب العطاء، حب الخير للعالم كله.
My father taught me how to love giving and how to love people and how to just love to be honoring others.
مطلب من ربنا انه يقدرنا نكمل بمسيرته نقدر نمشي الطريق اللي هو مشيها.
I do ask the Lord to give us the strength to walk in his path that he has walked before us.
وشكرا فعلا لكم لتقديركم لأبوي وتكملوا المسيرة وفعلا نشتغل لدعم السلام في كل العالم.
And thank you again for your support and appreciation of my father, that you may continue on this path of peace and to spread all over the world.
زي ما قالت أمي البيت موجود ومفتوح لكل إنسان عشان نشعر إنه أبو جبور بعده موجود بيناتنا وهو غاب عنا بالجسد بس بالروح ما غاب عنا.
And as my mother said, our home is always open for all those people who want to come, even when my father is not here, because he's with us in spirit, although he left us in body and flesh.
شكرا كثير لكم.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Nadine. Again, thank you. It's something coming from him through you. We feel the spirit of Elias through you and through your mother. It makes us so strong today to be with you and with him also. Now, I would like to invite his brother, Samir Jabbour. Samir Jabbour, he is living in Canada, Ontario, and he was so close to him. And also, Elias told us a lot about his brother in Canada and about his son also in Canada. Yusuf, he will talk later. I would like to invite Samir to tell us about his brother. How did they feel the life together since their race until they began to be leaders of most of the people in the world and to create a direction toward the sunshine, to the peace. Samir, Abu Nabil, تفضل, please.
Thank you. Good morning, good evening, everybody. First of all, on behalf of myself and the Jabbour family, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Mr. David Less, Sheikh Ghassan Manasra, and all today's participants for initiating and taking part in this online event to pay tribute to my beloved late brother Elias Jabbour. I am honored today to talk about Elias, the peacemaker, the visionary, and the dreamer. He believed that it is always better to live together than to die together. He once observed that there are many military academies, but there is no one academy for peace. During one of my visits to Shefar'am, he expressed to me his vision for the House of Hope to become modernized international center for peace studies and research, and wanted my input, having worked at the Institute for Palestine Studies in Beirut for many years. We talked about what such center would be like and how to build a comprehensive library to secure resources. I believe that Elias was seriously pursuing his vision. However, he encountered many obstacles along the way, like his aging health that prevented him from fulfilling his dream. As you know, Elias traveled the world to talk about his vision for peacemaking. He would often drop by us here in Canada, following meetings, conferences, or lectures that he would attend in North America. I always found him to be optimistic about being able to reach a large audience and having his voice heard. He really felt like he was making a difference and succeeding in spreading the essence of peace. I felt like this brought him a great joy and self-satisfaction. Elias leaves behind a rich and diverse legacy that was shaped from its infancy by our late father Jabbour, who was a public servant, mayor of Shefar'am for 33 years, and a prominent national leader of his time. Elias idealized our father and followed closely in his footsteps. Our father instilled in him and in all of us the love of the country, the land, the people. Elias learned from our father the art of reconciliation or Sulha, and he too became a member of the National Sulha Committee. And here I would like to share with you a personal anecdote. Abu Jabbour was invited to speak in front of a group of Israeli judges about Sulha during one of my visits back home, and he invited me to come along. I witnessed him dazzle the judges with his deep understanding of the principles of Sulha, delivered to them in eloquent Hebrew. I watched them all being mesmerized by his brilliance as a lecturer and his concept called Sulha, a traditional Arabic reconciliation process, some of whom were hearing about it for the first time. At that moment, I understood that Elias' role in highlighting the principles of reconciliation was more far-reaching and had caught the attention of even judges. Before I end, I would like to mention that I am currently editing a transcript that Abu Jabbour put together about our late father. He gathered writings, anecdotes, historic events, and put together a book about our father and gave it the title of Shefar'am Between Three Epochs. I am taken aback by the amount of material that he had gathered, preserved, and memorized over a span of more than 40 years to render a true description of our father and the role he played in shaping the political rhetoric at that time. On a final note, it is difficult to talk about Elias and do him justice in just a few minutes, for there is so much to acknowledge and celebrate. I will, however, say this. Abu Jabbour was more than a brother to me. He was also a friend, a role model, a mentor, and a guru. His passing is a grave loss, not only to me personally and to our family, but to the community, to our nation, to all peace lovers around the world. His call for peace and reconciliation have never been more important or more needed than it is today. His passing leaves a huge void, and few will be able to fill his shoes with the same drive, zealous, and devotion to the notion of coexistence and peace. Thank you. Sorry for this. Thank you very much.
Abu Nabil, Samir, thank you so much. Thank you really for this sharing. You gave us lots of material in this some minutes that you spoke. I think we need from you lots of things. The most important things to keep yourself so strong, or to teach the teachings and all of these path of Abu Jabbour to the world and to us also. And important thing is to write all of your memory about Elias in a book to give to the world, and to let us to know other points or nuances that we didn't touch and we didn't know. Thank you, Abu Jabbour, Abu Nabil, and we will be in connection with you
Thank you.
along our way. Your brother, he created with all of us Abrahamic Reunion. It's one of the peaceful and great organizations work in not only in peace. The title, they use the title to bring the people to be together, to connect, to understand, to know one another, not only to come to talk, to be together, to be strong, to say that we have spirit with our bodies. We are not only external dimensions, we are inner and external. And really, thank you, Abu Nabi. Thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, Sheikhna.
Thank you, Habibi. From here, I would like to go to a very great person, a professor from the Holy Land, a very well-known. He's a great scholar, and all of us, we appreciate him and we love him and we know him and know his process and his path, his way. And also, he is one of the deep and close people to Elias Abu Jabbour. And he also from Shefar'am, the same town of Abu Jabbour. He is a professor. He's a doctor in the Technion Institute, Academic Institute in Haifa. This is one of the highest institutes in the Middle East, I think, or the highest, And he in the medicine school. He's teaching in the medicine school, and also he's working in one of the greatest hospitals in Israel. He will explain more about himself, but it's very important to tell us about his connection in Home of Hope and the work of Abu Jabbour. They worked together for a long time. We'll be happy to hear from you, Professor Zahir. Please.
Thank you, Sheikh Hassan. First, it's not strange for you to continue the legacy of reconciliation and peace following your father, also Sheikh Abdul Salam. And I think we are blessed with these personalities, whom he also was a great friend of Abu Jabbour, Allah yarhamu. And so thank you, and thanks to this great organization of Abrahamic Reunion to have this memorial evening. And I don't want to say I'm pleased, because really it's not time for pleasure. But I'm honored to be among you and to see Abu Nabil, whom I didn't see him lots of time, to see Reverend Tom Cook, who is a great friend of the House of Hope. And at this important time, I would like also to convey my condolences to Reverend Tom Cook for the passage of his lovely wife Wanda. Um, and I want to tell you that we have lots of members of the House of Hope that joined this meeting. I just paged on the screen to see who is there out of curiosity. Actually, the story began in 1978, which was not an easy time. It was the time of Litani operation, military operation in South Lebanon. Was the 2 years following the great confiscation of land, the Land Day in 1976. But Abu Jabbour felt, and the time is urgent to make action and to initiate a peace movement, a reconciliation movement. And he chose his beloved town and the youth of his town to begin this great mission and to implement his vision. So he called the young people of Shefar'am, to join him in establishing the House of Hope, and I was lucky to be one of them. It was in 1978. I was 18 years old, so you can now calculate that I aged on the legacy of and vision of Abu Jabbour. For me, Abu Jabbour is a father. He's my spiritual father, my mentor. Beyond being an active member of the House of Hope, but I stick to him. And although I'm a man of science and a man of education, as Sheikh Hassan said, I'm a professor of medicine in the Technion, also following the steps of my late cousin, who was a scientist in biochemistry in the American University of Beirut, and my father, who was an educator in the Galilee, especially in Tamra and Shfa'amir. But I think the one who shaped my personality and implemented the principles of peace, of reconciliation, of coexistence with dignity, as you said, Sheikh Hassan, with dignity. Abu Jabbour insisted that although we know that initiating peace as Arabs, oppressed minority in Israel, it was not easy. And he was criticized a lot by many of the Arab intellectual persons, saying that how come that the horse makes peace with his rider? And Abu Jabbour was telling them the time is vanishing, the sand watch is vanishing, and we should work together in order to achieve peace, as Abu Nabil quoted precisely the words of Abu Jabbour. And sorry, Abu Nabil, I saw Abu Jabbour in you when you talk now. I saw this passion, these words coming from the heart. I think it is part of your education, the Jabbours, on the legacy of your late father, and your commitment towards noble social affairs of people all over. I studied medicine, and through my studies, I participated in the activities of the House of Hope, the social activities, the peace activities, receiving people from all over, Jewish groups, Arab groups, American, you name it. But if you ask the members of the House of Hope, they remember Zahir sitting in the office of the House of Hope and memorizing his medical books. Because also I studied in the Technion, so most of my studies I made it in the House of Hope, in this old stony house that you have seen in the short movie that Yusha Ghassan filmed now. And so I spent lots of time in the House of Hope, drinking and eating and acquiring from the knowledge of Abu Jabour. And I think it was not by chance that when I was elected to be Vice Dean for Medical Education in the Faculty of Medicine, one of the meetings that I insisted to make was in kibbutz Luchmea Gitaot, which is the Holocaust survivor kibbutz in Israel, in the south, in the north of Israel, bringing medical students from the Technion Medical School and from Bar Ilan Medical School to have a seminar on Holocaust and meeting together and boldly discuss also matters that interfere with the Arab-Israeli dispute. This was, I think, without being with Abu Jabour, without shaping my personality by Abu Jabour, I think I could have concentrated only on the scientific aspect of medicine without touching the humane side of medicine. I believed, and I still believe, that when I bring students together in such a sensitive place and they touch a sensitive subject, the suffering of other people, you can learn a lot about the suffering of my people and the other people. And I think this can create a better physicians, not only from scientific point of view, but also from the human point of view. So this is Abu Jabour. Abu Jabour impacted many hundreds of young people, or thousands. I don't exaggerate if I say thousands of young people in his way of life, in his legacy. Abu Jabour was very humble, guys. You know, during this COVID pandemic that is killing every good thing in our life, Abu Jabour was very concerned about those people who are in need for support. And he urged us to distribute and to give food boxes for the needed people. And we, by the help of the Social Affair Office in Shefar'am, we distributed about 150 such boxes of about $200 each box, and till now nobody knew about this contribution of Abu Jabour and the House of Hope to these needed people during the the Corona pandemic. It was not published in the social media. It was not published in the media at all. And this was the request of Abu Jabour, saying, your left hand should not know what is your right hand do. Thus, this is the real spiritual life, whether it is Christian or Muslim or Jewish spiritual life. To be humble, to help people without asking to be published, or to make to be selfish and showing that I have helped these people. So these are lessons to us. as young people, actually, I can tell you something that when at the age of 60, when we have a group coming to the House of Hope, he said, the young men, for he was pointing on me. He forgot that I already approaching the age of 60, and but this was Abu Jabbour. Guys, I don't want to take a lot of time, but for me, it was a great loss. For all the people of the House of Hope, Abu Jabbour was a great loss. For the people of Shefar'am and for the Arab population, and I believe as Abu Nabil said, for all peace seekers, Abu Jabbour is a loss. But we are committed to continue his legacy, to continue his way of life. The House of Hope is not something, it's not only an international peace center. As he always said, it is a way of life. So we should continue Abu Jabbour's way of life, to be humble, to be generous, to give, and to be committed for the case of peace and reconciliation, not necessarily in political ways, but on our way of life, as me as a physician, Nadine as a teacher, Abu Nabil as an educator, Tom as a priest, everyone, Sheikh Ghassan as a sheikh, and everyone on his way of life should be committed and should feel that the way of Abu Jabbour is the right way for all of us. Thank you, and again, I'm grateful to have this, to share this very touching and moment with you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Azam. It's very great memories. It's very great things that you say to us. I appreciate what did you say, because we together went with Abu Jabbour to many events, many conferences all around the world, and we saw who he is. And you gave us a very, you gave us the batter of his life, because you were with him and you supported by him, and he gave you a lot, and you gave to the path of Abu Jabbour a lot also, as a great professor today in the Holy Land, in Israel especially, and all around the world. We thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Professor Zahir Azam. And from here, I would like to go to his son, Yusuf. Yusuf, also he's in Canada. He is a lawyer, and many times Elias Abu Jabbour told me that he missed his son, missed his brother. They are so far in the end of the world and so on. But, we say, if the person in your heart, he will not disappear from your eyes. You will see him through the taste of your heart. Yusuf, as a son, beloved son, like Rani and the others, and like Nadine, can you tell us a little bit about your father?
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, good evening, wherever you are. And again, I would like to thank everybody, you and David, for organizing this short meeting. I wish it could be longer and we can have a dialogue about peace and how we bring peace to the world. But I also would like to thank everybody participating. As Professor Azam said, we have Tom Cook with us, who was a great supporter of the House of Hope, and my dad. And we'd like to convey our condolences for the passing of his wife as well recently. We share the loss together, I believe. My dad was a great man, not because he was my dad, but because I see him as an outsider. I look at him and I see his humility, his humbleness. My dad was very powerful by using his words and the power of convincing. He spoke to people all over at an eye level. He spoke to every person at an eye level, whether it was old, young, middle-aged, man, woman, of every background. He was able to talk straight on, simple words that convey powerful meanings. He was trying to convince everybody that peace is better and more powerful than war. In very, very simple words, and in a way that conveys that living together side by side is way much better than fighting each other opposite. In my line of work, we're always going opposite each other, and I try to find common grounds and find way to solve the problem, not make it more complicated. Also, I see my dad as a global citizen. As you heard in the video, he quoted from Yiddish, he quoted from Tom Sawyer. I don't think I haven't seen so many people that were able to talk to everyone in their own language. If he's talking to Americans, he mentioned Tom Sawyer. If he's talking to Germans, he would mention Yiddish. If he's talking to the English, he would mention the mandate of Palestine and the education he got. If he's talking to like he went to Japan, to Malaysia, to Hong Kong, and he was able to connect to all these people through his simplicity and through his words. And he used a lot of examples in his life. And he used from the experience he learned from my grandfather, my late grandfather, his late dad, and he implemented it in his life, in every step of his life. He took the ideas and the ideals, and he did implement them in his real life. He lived by those codes. He lived by the words that he is conveying. He wasn't, and I'm sorry to say, he wasn't a politician that would, stand up and say empty words and do nothing. But he tried to achieve peace. He tried to achieve peace between Arabs and Jews and between every other nations all over the world. If he had the chance, he would go and be the world peacemaker all over. As you heard, he was saying, overcome the problem, not let the problem overcome us. He was not a believer that people are the source. The problem is the source of the problem, not the people. If you solve the problem, you solve it forever. This is how I see my dad. Also, his way of connecting to people was different than others. We still have a lot to learn from him, I believe. Even though Dr. Azam said he's 60, I'm 50, but we still have a long way to go, I believe. We still have to learn how we can have a dialogue, how we can talk to each other in a way that we convince each other. And I would say to achieve peace is you have to somehow ascend from your reality and look at it from space, let's say, and look at the reality down and say, it does not matter what's the reality. What matters is that we have to achieve peace. I would like to end here with a very wise story that I heard from my dad. And I heard it a lot of times. And the story goes that a wise man came upon two people who are putting their ear on the ground and listening, and they're fighting. And the wise man asked, okay, what are you fighting about? One person said, the land is telling me that it belongs to me. The other guy is saying, no, that's not true. The land is telling me that it belongs to me. So the wise man paused for a second and then put his ear onto the ground and listened. And he shook his head. I said, yeah, true. And then the two persons there, what is saying, what the land is saying to you? And the wise man left his head up and said, you're both wrong. The land is saying both of you belong to the land, which shows us that no matter what we do at the end of the day, you know, as we say in North America, we're going to be 6 feet under. And no king ever took anything with him before or her before, from the great pharaohs to the Chinese emperors, to every emperor that was created upon this earth has gone dissolved. And people only remain on this earth, and they will carry that. Either it's our choice to have peace or to continue with war. And therefore, I hope that my dad's message and his conviction will continue with us, and that we can carry that torch forward. I know it's a heavy burden. He was a unique person in that regard. And I think that maybe we can achieve peace in our lifetime. And we hope for that. Again, thank you so much for organizing this. And it's great to see everybody here in this meeting. And I hope and wish that we can have another meeting sometime soon. Thank you, Ghassan. Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody.
Yusuf, thank you so much for your great examples, your great stories, your great teachings of Elias Jabbour. We are so happy to be with you. It's hard to say so happy at this time, but because the happiness comes from your father. He taught us to continue further, to go further, not to stop, to teach his legacy, his heritage to all the world. Thank you, Yusuf.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And really, we hope you will continue this family, this great family, the light family, to continue the path of Elias with Abu Nabil and with Yusuf, with Jabbour, with all of you. From here, I would like to invite Rina and Jonathan Reiter. They were, so close to Abu Jabbour, to Elias. They are a Jewish family from Israel. They are so great people. They work with him together because they believe at the same mission that they need to do together. Rina and Jonathan, please. And I am sorry to say that we need to short our time because our time began to be very tight.
Thank
Please.
you.
Okay, so first of all, I want to thank you for organizing this wonderful event. I'm so sorry that we weren't able to be with all of Elias's family after he passed. We were very, very sorry, and we feel that this is our kind of connection to do it now. So it's an honor for us to be here. Thinking about Elias, I think there's very few people I can think of that have are so true in everything that they do, in the way that they act, in living a life of simplicity, and yet at the same time, not only teaching respect for people, but living it and demonstrating it in everything that they do. And Elias, not only was he a beautiful person that we love very much, but we visited Elias several times. Every time we went there, we felt like we were filled with knowledge and inspiration. We even took some videos, and we're happy to share them with you. We felt that all the time that we had with him was a privilege, and I hope that we can continue following in his footsteps and teaching many people his legacy.
And his spirits of peace and hope and love and connecting people. And inshallah, we will go in his steps and in his spirit.
And one more very, very important thing that Elias taught us, I think he was an incredible example of humor, because if you want to succeed in this part of the world, you need a lot of humor.
Yes.
I think you are right. First of all, thank you for this very short, really introduction or talk about Elias. I understand. To talk about Elias, you need, I think, era, not time or decade, era. You need long, long, long time because and I'm sure he will be one of the phenomena that they will teach in the future in the universities and in the peace colleges, as Nabil and as Professor Zahir said. I'm so happy that you came to be with us. You see here Jewish, Christian, and Muslim and Jewish families came to honor this great person. I would like to invite now Father or Reverend Tom Cook, and we really we are sorry for your losing, and please, Tom, we will be happy to have you with us and to share with us a little bit of your experience with Elias, because you know represented him here in USA, and he represented you there in the Holy Land. You began to be one. Please. Tom.
Thank you very much. To me, this is a family reunion. It's been a while since I've been with some of you, but over the past 30-some years, when by chance I stopped at the House of Hope and received unbelievable hospitality. It started a journey that I can never forget, and some other things that come to mind, of course, at this point. My dear wife died just a month before Elias, and so I've been into a kind of double grief, but also a double kind of celebration of life. And I think that's where we are now. We're celebrating the lives of those who have meant so much to us. The psalmist in Psalm 34 encourages us to strive for peace with all your heart. Elias did it with all of his heart and with all of his mind and all of his resources. What an example for us to put what you have, not what somebody else has, but everything toward that part of being that God has called us to be. And so as I look back over time, I remember many things, but as the Spanish put it, mi casa, su casa, my house is your house. Elias brought me into a different level, my family, your family, and vice versa. I don't think there's anything that has meant more to me than that kind of relationship that God brought me to at a very critical point in my personal life. In Proverbs, we read that a man who has friends must himself be friendly, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And I have blood brothers and I love them dearly, but there's a different relationship at times that we're put into, and that is one for me, for sure. For in my many visits to Elias and his to me here in the States, there was that time of course of greeting but then a kind of time where we could unload on each other. We could relieve that stress, that tension from all of the efforts and all of the problems that came our way. When I would bring folks with me, they wanted to do something. And before we could do something, Elias and I had to have that special time together. And it has enriched my life, certainly. And I'm sure the same is true for many of you. And this is a grand opportunity, it seems to me, for us to refresh in more than words, but just to see each other's faces and to realize that this is also what Elias would do. He would make something out of trouble that was good. And so we look at this pandemic that has caught us all off guard and put us into a kind of a lockdown. But now, along with that, God has given us the technology to do what we're doing right at this moment. And I think there is a spiritual technology also, as someone has said, that Elias is very much with us right now. And we sense that, we feel that. And I want to tell each member of the families and those of you I know and you know me, I love you very much. And this is very, very healing for me. And I hope it is also healing for the family there. Thank you so much for setting this up and for my involvement. I won't forget this.
Thank you, Tom, and also we passing our condolence to you. And you know, we are all of us with you, as Yusuf sent to you now, that we are one family, as you say. This is the gathering for the one family and the same family. And from here, I would like to invite Rev William McGarvey to be with us and to give any short something about Elias Jabbour. Please. Your vote, yeah.
So glad to be here with you today. I came, and my first time in visiting Israel, Palestine, I came with a Presbyterian peacemaking program in 2006. And my group from California came a little early in order to meet with Elias and other peacemakers that we knew from the region in the Galilee, in Bethlehem, Beit Sahur, other parts of Israel and Palestine. And the day we spent in Shefar'am at the International House of Hope had deeply affected me and gave me a new way of looking at the conflict and a new way of looking at what it could mean, a different way of being Christian. And so when I led two other groups from California in 2008 and 2012, we definitely made the plans to spend as much time as we could with Elias. And one other time at the House of Hope and another time in his home. And I just want to thank the family for their awesome hospitality and let you know that we grieve with you from California. And we continue to just lift up not only the memory of a man who followed the ways of Jesus in creative resistance, but also the telling of this story that needs to be heard more and more, that the indigenous ways of peacemaking with justice that have been in that region of the Levant for 3,000 to 4,000 years need to be understood for us to be able to move forward as a human family where each of us belong. So whether it's in my interfaith work or preaching in my little Presbyterian United Church of Christ congregation, we just share our grief with you and our presence. And thank you for your hospitality, and thank you for being you. A family in the world that allows us to see what true Christianity can look like. Thank you.
Thank you, Rev. And we appreciate your words, really. The family of Elias, they listen to you through their hearts. Thank you, Rob William. And in the end, I would like to ask Rani, the youngest son, I think, of Elias, to say in short some things about his father, because he was the friend and the partner of his father to bring him and to be together, to come together. And we met in a different events together through our way, through our path in this mission. Rani, please, if you would like to say in short something.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. And thank you for this great meeting. It's a big honor for us to be in this meeting and to see all these people on all these faces. Actually, it's a great loss of my father. It's very difficult to talk about him in the past, but it is, as many of you said, I see my father in your faces, and I'm also a student of my father. I was learning all the time from my father. And I think I will continue to learn from his wisdom. My father was a peacemaker, a man of wisdom. He taught us many things. He taught us about peace and love and reconciliation and forgiveness. And I hope that we will continue in his way and to work more about peace and reconciliation and forgiveness. And I thank you again for your support, for your visit, and you are all the time welcome to come again and to visit us and to visit the House of Hope. And thank you.
Rani, thank you. Jabbour, thank you.
Thank you.
Nadine, thank you. Yusuf, thank you. Samir, thank you. Shahabuddin, thank you. Tom, thank you. Well, thank you. Rina and Yona, thank you. Thank you all to be here, to honor and to appreciate this great person, this great leader, this great teacher, as all of you mentioned. And mostly I want to thank Professor Zahir Azam for his speech about him, because he worked with him. And really, you told us of love, harmony, joy. And I think from now, I cannot say this is the end of Elias that he passed away. I say this is the beginning. We are opening the gate of the future. The sun will arrive to all of us. The peace will arrive to all of us. Our hearts is the house of God and the Creator, and also the house of all of His creation. I think all of us, we are one hand. And David Less and I and all of Abrahamic Reunion will be in connection with you or to continue the path. Home of Hope with Abrahamic Reunion. All of you, professors, teachers, educators, grassroots, all the people all around us, we will be one. We will continue the path. When I heard about his death, that someone told me, I think Rani sent me, my father is passed away. I left everything. I entered to the room to be alone, and I cried a lot because Elias, he was a very great friend to my father, as Professor Azam mentioned, and they create lots of peace together. They did a lot together, and I didn't know how to say to my father. My father is a very strong person, but slowly, I told my father that Elias Jabbour began to be angel. He looked at me. He said to me, he was angel all the time. I say, okay, and silent. My father has tears, and you read the Fatiha for him. You know, it was so great for me. You know, we need to be happy because he want us to be happy and to continue the way. And I will tell you, all of you, go to visit the house of Elias and the house of hope. Hiyam in Jabbour, she's a great cooker. You will prepare for all of us great things. Next time when we go, we'll be together with you. We love you so much, the family of Abu Jabbour, and we love all of you so much, and we will continue together. Love you and thank you.
Thanks.
كل الاحترام, all the respect to you, Sheikh. And I hope to see you here in Canada.
Inshallah. Next time, we will come to visit.
You are welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
You
you.
know, before
Thank
that,
you all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining.
you know,
Thank
Love
you.
to all.
Thank you.
before the corona pandemic, Abu Jabbour dreamt to have a meeting, an international peace conference in the House of Hope, like the conference that Sheikh Abdul Salam and Abu Jabbour led 10 years ago in the House of Hope. And he did not live to see this conference, but we should do our best to make it real when this damned pandemic vanishes, so we can also achieve one of the dreams of Abu Jabbour.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
We will be with you at that conference.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Inshallah.
Thank you.
We'll meet you.
Yeah. This has produced a tsunami of memory.
Much love to all.
Before we go, I would like to thank Chris Miller for all of his work behind the scene, for Malcolm for his translation, and for all the people they came to be here. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We love you,
Thank
Sheikh.
you. We miss of all you. Yusuf and my uncle Samir, hi.
Ah.
My uncle Samir, I send to my uncle Samir Jabbour and Yusuf.
Thank you.
All of you also. Thank you very much.
Inshallah.
ربنا يحميكم. الله يحميكم.
نسلم ايديك.
شكرا.
يعطيكم العافية. باي باي.
شكرا يعطيكم العافية.
الله يخليكم. مع السلامة. مع السلامة. Chris, you can. Chris, you can close. Okay. Do you want to say something?
No, just nice to see everybody here, and yeah, good to be with you. Remembering Elias, what an inspiring man. Really incredible life work for peace, and his book is equally beautiful. So maybe we can share some of his book and some of his writings out there also. I hope that'd be great. And nice to see Katie out there.
Ah, Katie. Hi, Katie. Katie, would you like to say one word? One thing.
Oh, you're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. I only met him once, but I remember I was starstruck at first because I had read the book, I had watched videos, transcribed recordings, and to see him in person and hear those stories in person was something that I'll never forget. And then afterwards, when I introduced myself to him, he knew who I was. He said that he had gotten, you know, my emails from working with the Abrahamic Reunion, and it was just incredible to meet him, and I'll never forget him.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you all, and see you soon. Bye-bye. Yes, you can close it if you would like.
Okay.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everybody.
سلام خاص لخالي
Shalom.
سمير. Bye bye.
Yeah, and you can always send, memories of Elias. It will collect some of them, and we're going to make another round of filming and sort of a documentary about him. So that'll be the next thing. Maybe we'll have a meeting like was suggested. So good to see you all.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good to be here.
Okay. Thank you.